Muffins, today's activity we're gonna do is baking. The recipe that I chose for today is banana muffins. So I'm gonna walk you through how to look at the recipe. Obviously, parents, I know you probably know how to do a recipe, but I'm gonna have you guys see what items I collected and everything. So let me show you what I have in front of me. So to start, I already buttered my pan. I don't have any cooking spray, so I'm sorry, I had to use butter. I have some bowls ready. I have my recipe right here. All of the items I need are listed with their measurements. Right next to it, I have my sugar, my flour, my eggs, my baking powder, my baking soda, salt, a whole bunch of utensils that I'm gonna need to use, my 3 bananas, and then I have some special things I'm going to add as well. So those are all the things that I started. So for now, my first direction is preheating the oven to 350 degrees. So I'm gonna go over to the oven and we are baking and 350 and start. So while that is preheating, I'm going to start making it. So the first thing that we need to do is, it says coating the muffin pans with non-stick spray or use paper liners. I already did that. Sift together the flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt and set aside. So I'm going to grab one of my bowls. And it says to start with the flour. So the flour says that we need 1.5 cups of flour. I am going to grab my flour right here. I have my 1 cup measuring. Right here at the bottom it says 1 cup, so you're gonna wanna use 1 cup. Some people like to use a knife to kind of flatten out their flour. I'm not going to. If you want to, you could totally do that. So here's my 1 cup of it. And then I need a 1/2 cup, which here is my 1/2 cup right here. And I'm going to go in, do the same thing I just did with using my finger on the bag instead of using a knife. Use a knife. All right, so my flour is in now. My next thing is my baking powder and baking soda. So my baking powder, which is right here, just needs 1 teaspoon. So I'm going to find my teaspoon and tablespoon. My teaspoon, I can tell the difference because it's TSP. I know for kids that's something that they're learning, so teach your kids the difference between a tablespoon and a teaspoon. Actually look at the differences in their size so that you can have a conversation about this is math skills. We're not just cooking and having a great time, but we're actually using math skills when we bake. So I have my baking powder and then I need 1 teaspoon of baking soda as well. So I'm going to use the same thing I just used. And I'm gonna go in and make a nice flat level scoop here. Got 1 teaspoon here. All right, and my next ingredient says and salt, and then I'm gonna set it aside. Teaspoon, it's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm gonna find my 1/2 teaspoon, voila. I am probably gonna make a mess of this and probably not gonna do this in the best of ways, but I'm going to try doing this and I'm doing it over my bowl, which you're also not supposed to do. So try not to spill. I'm gonna hope that I can do it right on, which that looks actually pretty good. I'm gonna put that in. And then it says to actually mix those together. So I haven't actually mixed them together, which, hold on. I feel like I was supposed to put sugar. No, I was not supposed to put sugar. I put sugar in the next bowl. Never mind. But I am going to stir this together. So I like to use the spatulas to mix it. Some people use spoons. I am kind of weird and just do things for no reason. So I'm going to use my spatula. You could use a spoon. All right, I'm going to mix it all together. And now I'm setting this aside for the next thing I'm going to do. All right, the next thing is combining bananas, sugar, eggs, and melted butter. So for the butter, I know I already cut it because I looked in, I tried to prep things ahead of time. But so for butter, it called for a 1/3 cup of butter. On the actual thing, it says a 1/3 cup, I can't read upside down, hold on. A 1/3 cup is 5 1/3 tablespoons. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just a 1/3. So I already got that off. Now it needs to be melted, so I'm gonna put it in the microwave right here. I usually just put it in for 30 seconds. If it's not melted, then I'll put it in for longer, but we're gonna hope that it's just melted. And I know in my directions, it said my bananas needed to be mashed. So I'm going to start mashing my bananas right now. So I have 3 bananas. These bananas have seen better days. That's why I'm gonna use them to make my muffins, because I don't really want to eat these anymore. I'd rather eat bananas that are yellow, not brown. But everyone has their own personal taste on how they like their bananas. I personally actually kind of like them greenish, and that is definitely taboo for most people, so you know, it's okay. We all have our own likes and dislikes. And at school we say, don't yuck my yum. So if I like it, that's great. If you like it, that's great. All right. So this is a part that kids absolutely love, is mashing things. So I'm gonna use a fork to mash these. It depends on kind of what you want your bananas. If you want to have them super mashed and no lumps in them, or some people like lumps in them. I kind of go either way depending on what I'm making. I made banana bread earlier this week and I didn't do a bunch of clumps and it actually kind of dried out. But if I've done it with like clumps with the bananas, then it for some reason doesn't get as dry. So I think I'm gonna leave a little bit of lumps in here so that it doesn't dry out my muffins, but we'll see. I have also never made banana muffins. I only have made banana bread. So we're gonna see if I can still rock it with some muffins here. Oops, my computer went down. All right, so my bananas are as much as I want them, ready to go. And my butter is done. Oh, nope, just kidding. It is not. We will wait on that. But, so, sugar. I need sugar and I need an egg. So I have my egg. I can add that right now. Egg. Also another fun thing that kids like to do. If you are nervous that they're going to break an egg and have shells in the bowl, have them break it in a different bowl and then just pour it in. I live on the wild side, so we are just gonna hope that I don't get any eggshells in here, because that would be very sad. All right, and then my butter is melted. I'm going to add that in. And then my sugar, I need 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I'm gonna use this boy right here. So kind of like what they teach you in science class, when you're measuring things out like this, you don't want to just look at it from above. You want to get on an eye level length to see if you are at the right measurement, which I am not. All right, I have my, oh wow. Brittany is totally messing up. I went to 1 1/3. That is not what I did. I need 3/4. Messing up. All right, so what it's supposed to be is 3/4 cup. I'm going to put that in. When I am baking, I know that there's a lot of healthier substitutes that someone could have. I don't know all those healthy substitutes, so if you have any healthier version of this, you can let me know. I'm just making these how it is on the recipe I found. So I have banana, sugar, egg, and melted butter. And I'm gonna mix it. Kids love stirring. If you don't wanna waste your energy on stirring something, get kids to stir it because they absolutely love to stir things. If they wanna use their hands for like a sensory type of play while they're doing this, totally do it. Have them, I mean, they should have washed their hands before baking, but just in case, have them wash their hands and use their hands to stir this around instead of a utensil. All right, so that part is done. And then I'm going to fold in the flour mixture and mix until smooth. All right, which I do this every time. This is the little bowl I'm supposed to be pouring this into here, so we're just gonna hope it doesn't spill. I don't know why, but every single time I bake, I do that. I'm just gonna add a little bit at a time because Naturally, I make a lot of messes, and I'm going to try to avoid making a huge mess right now, even though I'm still making a mess. Yep, do you see flour flying? Because it is flying. Okay. Good thing I don't have to go anywhere today because I am covering myself in this, which is not the best. Alright. So it says to mix it until it's smooth. And then in this recipe, it's saying to just put this directly into the muffin pans. Well, I wanted to make it a little crafty and add other things into my muffins because I think for kids it's cool to have one taste, but kids have many tastes that they like. So the things I'm gonna add, I'm gonna probably do a couple regular banana ones. And then I have blueberries that I'm gonna add. I have walnuts that I'll add, and then chocolate chips. So at the end of baking, I'm going to have 4 different kinds of muffins in my muffin pan, which can extend this activity because then you could do a taste test, do a family taste test, make a bar graph. Which ones was everyone's favorite? Which ones did they not like? And so that could be a way to kind of extend the activity. I'm going to separate these, try to separate these into separate bowls so that I can put the different ingredients in. I want just a couple that are regular bananas, so I'm gonna just put a couple in here. These ones will be my just banana. Just use this bowl. All right, so I have about 3 bowls that have kind of the same amount in them, and I'm just going to add my ingredients. Blueberries. One thing I've learned about blueberries cooking is that when you mix them together, be careful that you're like folding it so that it's not going to break the blueberries. What I mean is, I'm gonna try to show you without spilling. You kind of just lift and fold it over. You aren't actually mixing them together. All right, so my blueberry ones I'm gonna start putting in. Ooh. I'm definitely making a mess, so if you don't want to make a mess, do not do it how I'm doing it because I'm making a huge mess. Got my chocolate chips, stuff everywhere right now. These ones I'm only gonna fold because chocolate chips, I did have melted butter, so it could melt my chocolate chips, so I'm gonna hope that just folding them doesn't let them melt too much. All right. So all these muffins are gonna be different sizes because I totally did not measure them out perfectly. All right, and my last set is some walnuts in here. Walnuts in banana bread or banana muffins. Banana bread's basically the same thing. They kind of just give it a little bit of a different texture when you're eating them. So that's why I'm doing some walnuts in mine. Well, that one has seen better days. There's barely anything in it, but you know, it's okay. A mini muffin, right? All right, so here are my muffins. My regular ones, my blueberry ones, chocolate chip, and walnut. And then the last thing I need to do is put it in the oven, which it says it takes 10 to 15 minutes. No, it does not. 25 to 30. So I'm gonna put them in the oven. I'll send a picture about how they come out. Have fun, guys.